Thank you all for joining me here at Torn Reels again. Your boy looking rough this Saturday afternoon. Sorry, I had to look at the clock. Today, we are doing Sinners as a review, and I got my buddy over here, Cornbread, from the cast.
We just
How-
finished watching that movie, and you have an insight. That's wild, dude.
How was it like working with Michael B.
That's
Jordan?
wild, bro. I'm so glad you didn't say the witch, bro. I was about to be offended.
No, bro, she was finer than fucking Cornbread.
Imagine.
Bro, you're Cornbread. You got that hat and everything.
Hell yeah, dude. I love the actor, though.
Bro, dude,
I
he's
don't know his
amazing.
name. I don't know his name, but shout out to the actor. That actor
Wasn't he the
was
same guy that played in fucking 8 Mile?
No.
Wasn't he his friend?
No.
I could have sworn they got the same limp.
No, right. No, 100% no. That's not him. Oh,
But-
maybe. I don't know.
We'll have to look that up. But anyway, like we said today, we're doing Sinners. We literally just got done watching it. We went to the theater and came back. There's theater down the street from my house. Doesn't matter. Fat cast. Anyway, but the point is,
cats.
you know, this movie started off as a movie that I wasn't sure if I was gonna like.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Michael B. Jordan was in there. I love Michael B. Jordan. I think he's awesome in pretty much everything. Did you just have a seizure? Why are you turning off my lights, bitch?
I didn't touch anything.
These are my lights, bro. It's your,
It turns off again. Bruh.
it's the gravitational pull. It's letting off electromagnetic pulses.
I don't have to be here. I really don't.
I don't have to be here.
I don't have to be
No,
here.
I thought the movie was gonna suck, but it actually was really, really good. Now, it wasn't just a little good. It was really,
Really
good.
good.
Compared to a lot of the movies that we've seen out here, because this is supposed to be like a horror movie. And you watch it, it reads like a horror movie, but there's more gore in it than anything.
It's amazing.
But it was really good.
It's amazing.
Like, it completely broke out. Like, I think for me, at least it broke out of Michael B. Jordan's, like, typecasting, like, shadow. You know what I mean? Like, I think
What
there
do you
was
keep looking
more. Because it looks like it's, like, off on this side. Is it off?
oh,
Am I just tripping? It's me.
you high. That's
It's-
what it is.
Hey, bro, shut up, dog. You
Hey,
need
why
to
you
tell-
loud?
You don't need to be telling the audience what I do and don't do.
Tony knows what you do.
Damn, that's sad. Still Tony. Hey, rocking.
No, Tony don't even listen to us anymore.
Aw, sad. He's like, I like their old shit.
I asked Tony. I was like, he's like, I haven't watched it in a minute, bro. I was like, all right, fuck you then.
Bitch, fuck you. Our last fan gone. Later.
All right, bye.
No, but no, we I really thought it was gonna be like super shitty because like with movies that have been going on, like all the woke shit, I thought it was gonna be like super super bad. So good.
This one was really good.
Best adaptation of vampires since fucking 30 Days of Night. So aggressive, so
Agreed.
vicious, very good. Like it was just
Agreed. This is really. This
Yeah.
is what I told Sean this at the movie theater, and I'm gonna tell you guys the same thing. This is what Jordan Peele wanted to do. He wanted to make a good scary movie, and he didn't. He fell
didn't.
short, in my opinion, at least.
Get Out was okay. I'll give Get Out a pass.
I disagree.
Us was not
I
good.
think Us was better than
No,
Get Out. But
Absolutely not.
we disagree. But this one was what Jordan Peele tried to do.
And Candyman is the worst thing I've ever seen.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, he made a new Candyman. It was horrible.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
It turns out that there's hundreds of Candyman.
Makes sense. Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah, there's a ton of Candyman, and like they all like are random Candyman around the world that just terrorize people and shit.
Why wouldn't there be?
I have no clue why. Tyler, I see you squinting over there. What did you? was that a movie that you liked?
What?
Yeah.
No, I was never a big fan of it, but even I'm like, it's one guy.
No,
it's supposed to be one guy.
In this adaptation, it's a bunch of them because they reference the original guy, the Candyman, and they're saying, "Oh, there's Candyman all over the world and shit like that." And yeah, it was weird.
That's
I was
retarded.
like, "What?"
I didn't see the Alien one. He made a new Alien one. I've never seen it. Heard it's really good. Never seen it.
Was there an alien one?
Yeah.
Well, I also heard that.
But you
that-
don't see the aliens. Like it's the alien is the ship.
That's annoying.
Yeah. I
That's
was like, so you did nothing.
But I also heard a bunch of shit like Smile. Like people tell me it's like great, and I'm like Smile's horrible.
I didn't.
Even Aaron, who's a monster guy, didn't like it.
I-
Smile. I couldn't
What's
get behind it.
the first one he really did that kind of blew it up? I can't remember.
Get Out?
Get Out.
That's the one That's the only one I've seen that I liked.
Yeah, that's the only one that I was
That's
like,
it.
oh, okay, I like it. Everything
Again,
else I was
I
like, eh.
disagree. Get Out was fucking
No.
is sketchy for me. Us is when I was like, all right, cool. I like this one a lot. I like this one a lot. This
Yeah, I didn't.
because it was the uncanny. It was all based on the uncanny valley. I like that.
Yeah, I like the Uncanny Valley.
That's why I was
Okay,
like, oh.
so you like the premise better than the movie?
Yeah, well, yes,
That's-
but I
that's
don't
the
like
problem.
the premise or the movie of Get Out. It's not. I'm not a big fan of it.
I like the
But-
premise of Get Out. That was
But
great.
Us, I thought was really great actually.
I'm
I'm not gonna say fantastic because it wasn't, but it was it was a really good movie for
Right.
for the time that it came out. Because
Right.
at the time it came out, a bunch of ass movies were coming out. So
So
you know,
getting back to Sinners, I just had a question. So you guys like your vampires more like the Strigoi vampires, like very aggressive, very very, like,
predatory,
you don't-
apex predators.
you
all
don't
that
like
stuff.
the more subtle,
No.
No.
like seductive. No, not
Like,
your thing.
I,
Okay.
don't get me wrong. They can be charming. Like this one had a good balance because obviously they had Michael B. Jordan. They had some like really hot chicks that were like vampires as well. So they did the whole seductive thing. But the idea was when they got into like a mood, they became ravenous and they couldn't help it anymore.
See that,
I also
like
did.
that.
I also liked though that they didn't play on the cliche where if you look at them, you get hypnotized. and
Yeah.
that shit. I
Yeah.
loved that they didn't do that because
Yeah.
it's usually a cliche that people like fixate on.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's great. You know what I mean? That's great. And then I love that they didn't sparkle.
Yeah. Number one.
To be fair, if you had the power that every time you looked at someone, you could just hypnotize them, you would do it all the time.
All the time.
Right.
Why would you not ever?
But hang on,
not
I
do
would
that?
never do it as a vampire. I would wear like a cloak and be like, "These are not the droids you're looking
100%.
for."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I
I
would
would
be a
still-
Jedi through and through.
but you'd still
through.
do it.
Or Sith.
Oh, yeah.
You'd still do it.
Yeah.
100%.
Like,
But
everyone
usually
would.
Usually
Everyone
when
would.
vampires come into the picture of like horror movies, right? Usually, I'm not saying all the time, but usually
seduce the
they
one.
seduce them and they're like, oh my god, he's so great. Yada,
And
yada.
also, this
And
is
they
kind of
fixate
funny.
on that.
Also, this is kind of funny in Sinners. It's the first time where a guy was seduced by a female vampire, and who got taken as a victim. Michael B. Jordan's second character because he plays twins. He plays Scat and
Stack,
not Scat. Sorry,
and demonetized. Woo!
Stack.
You
And
need to lay
Smoke.
off the weed
I'm
for a
sorry,
minute,
man.
bro.
I'm
For
sorry.
a minute, man.
I'm sorry. I really biffed that one. It's a dyslexia kicking in. It's that
Right.
Hispanic disease. Anyway,
dyslexia.
Hispanic disease and weed.
it really
Wait,
is.
how does you saw the movie? How is it dyslexia?
Because I said scat instead of stack.
Okay,
The word dyslexia.
But-
Shut up. It's a Hispanic thing. Shut up.
But no, it's not. But
Like, no, it's not.
it's not. But whatever.
That's called autism, bro.
That's called weed. It's called weed overdose.
Anyway,
That's what it's called.
Stack and Smoke are both played by Michael B. Jordan. And they're twin. Press pause real quick.
The fuck was that noise?
They're both played by Michael B. Jordan, but they're supposed to be two different brothers, even though they tell each other that they're cousins and shit like that. That just is a joke and everything like that. They're supposed to be two brothers,
Twin.
and then one of the brothers like ends up with this girl apparently from her past, whatever, right? This white girl, and she gets turned into a vampire, and she takes him to like go fuck him and shit. And then all of a sudden, like, bites into his neck and like rips out his jugular, and he bleeds out and shit. And, like, and then all of a sudden he comes back and he's a vampire and everything. I was like, that's the first time you've seen that trope.
No,
Typically, it's the girl.
The thing that you see here for the first time ever, and I've ever seen in a movie about a horror movie, is the appropriate reaction to what you see.
Oh,
when
yeah.
you see that. So Michael B. Jordan's character Smoke, right, which is the twin brother.
The twin brother.
This motherfucker, the other motherfucker is getting chomped down by this vampire. Smoke comes in, sees him getting chomped down, and instead of being like, hey, get off him. Hey, are you okay? He pulls out two guns and start blasting the bitch. Just no questions asked. Just
I literally-
and just shoots the bitch.
The best reaction, let me tell you, and most realistic reaction I've ever seen in a movie ever. Ever. That's the best. I would shoot first.
Every
ask questions
person's
later.
like, hey, what's wrong? Let's go investigate. Let's go see what's happening. No, this bitch was like, bet.
You make 3 creepy noises, I'm shooting you on sight. That's it.
Dude, that was great. And then the other one, there's another old guy, right? He's like, I want to say 70, right? He's
Yeah.
like 70 in this movie. What was his name? Slim?
Delta Slim.
Delta Slim, okay? He sits there and he
That's
sees,
like a fucked up airline.
He sees this motherfucker. He sees another motherfucker get eaten, and he tells one of Michael B. Jordan's characters, which is Smoke. He tells him, "Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I just shit my pants. I'm letting
He's
everyone
like,
know.
I shit myself.
And I was like, that is another apt description of what the fuck would really happen.
Yeah, and it's not just the horror, not just the fight, because the fighting with Michael B. Jordan was incredible. However they choreographed that was fucking amazing.
That was
great.
That
And
choreographer needs to be like get an award or something because the choreography was wild.
it was crazy.
Because there was a lot of people doing a lot of shit.
Delta Slim and what is it? What's her name? May, the little Asian chick.
My or something like that.
My bro, they are the killers of the week, bro.
Yep.
The killers of the week. A whole army of vampires, because we're gonna be jumping around here in the movie. Whole army of vampires outside. This little Asian chick is her husband got bit, so he's a vampire now,
He
right?
threatens their child.
The leader of the vampire crew is this Irish guy, right? Which, by the way, they have the Rocky Road to Dublin on the soundtrack. Best use of it since Sherlock
letting
Holmes.
you know, yeah, exactly.
Best use.
Best use of it. Me and Sean were sitting there.
We're
thinking of
clapping.
Sherlock. We're sitting there going like this, looking like fucking idiots and shit.
Bro,
like
it was the greatest thing ever.
Amazing.
But so he's turned already, right? And they're all chanting and everything like that. And in the story, specifically in the story, they emphasize on the fact that vampires have to be let in to the house. They can't just walk in.
Which is another great detail that
they actually brought it up.
Because nowadays vampires don't do that.
Yeah.
They just attack you.
Yeah, they just attack you. This one, they have to be let in, which we'll get back to that because one of my favorite characters calls a vampire out. And it's the first time I've ever seen it. But whatever. So they have to be invited in. And it's right before the big battle and the vampires are coming in. And this bitch is just crying her eyes out because they threatened her daughter. And she's just thinking about her daughter who's at the grocery store waiting for her mom and dad to come back. And her dad's dead. And her mom is about to fight. And in order for her not to go after the daughter, she turns around and says, "Come in, motherfuckers, and get some." And they open the doors and they fucking run out. She runs, grabs a fucking stick, lunges at her husband and stabs him in the heart while she's on fire and while he's on fire. And I was like, if this
And
chick,
she burns to death, fucking stabbing him. I
and
was
she
like,
burns
that's
to
the guy.
death with the fury of like everything, just stabbing the shit out of him. I was like, if this woman does not get an award for that performance, I don't know what I'm gonna do, bro. That is the best thing.
A lot of them need awards because they performed.
Ooh.
They performed, and not to mention this, one of the main characters of this fucking movie, right? This was his debut.
Oh, Sammy, the guy with the guitar.
This was his debut.
Shout the fuck out to that
Bro.
guy. Bro.
Holy shit. His voice was great. His acting was great. His playing was great.
I'm telling you, and you're going to hear it here first. That man is going to go places, watch his career. Oh, my fucking God, bro.
100%.
His voice was
100%.
amazing.
He's going to be in a lot of musicals, too. With that voice,
bro.
he's going to be in a lot of musicals.
Bro, if that was his debut, bro, whew.
That was amazing.
So great.
That was really great.
He plays the part of a character who's supposed to be like a musician, a blues musician. He's the one that it's roughly based on the story of the guy who finds the fork in the road. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't remember which Sammy is.
Is that the one where he makes a deal with the devil?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
makes a deal with the devil to play the guitar better. I can't remember which artist it is, and it totally fucking escapes me. But
It's
based on him.
He like the whole thing is this dude was a no one, and all of a sudden he comes back in like a year, and he's better than everybody.
And so this one happens at night. So it's in a night. So basically, the whole story goes with this guy who's playing guitar and everything like that, right? And he meets his cousins who are the Smoke and Stack brothers. And they open up this club, and he's playing there, and he has really good promise as a blues player. He meets Delta Slim, who's a harmonica and keyboard player, and they all kind of, throw a big party to kind of make money. The idea of the vampires was the vampire stumbles on to these people's ranch who become his follower vampires who are going to go raid that place because those guys are black, and the people who are the vampires who become vampires were clan members, and the people who sold the land to Stack and Smoke, he was the Grand Dragon, is a rank in the clan, and they were gonna come after him no matter what, like they were just saying it to let him in, and then they were gonna fucking kill him. So the vampire stumbles along and then kind of throws a wrench in all their problems because they're like, oh well, I'm not gonna let you kill these guys. I'm gonna kill these guys, and he fucking starts demolishing everybody. But all the people that were in the, like, I guess the club and everything, they all end up becoming vampires because they get thrown out of the club. They go, hey, you guys got to go home. One of the owners just died. Like, get the fuck out of here.
This is before they know that they were vampires.
This is before they know anybody's a vampire. They're just random people getting their faces eaten off at this point. Right. It's like Florida all over again. Like Florida 2006.
Which, by the way,
again.
no one asked questions.
Yeah, that just went under the rug like nothing.
No one in that movie was like, hey.
What happened?
What happened?
Everyone just put that under the rug. They're like, yeah, whatever.
They just said, I'm going to go out.
Yeah, whatever.
Why? Why would you go out?
And then all of a sudden, they all became vampires and everything like that. And they all start chanting in a circle, the Rocky Road to Dublin. It's fucking hilarious.
Amazing.
But it's great.
I told Sean one thing in the theater, and he thinks I'm wrong, but I'm correct. When they're singing and they're chanting in a circle to the Rocky Road of Dublin, right? The main guy goes there and he's singing in the middle and he's dancing, and you see his eyes glow red. I would have loved to see, because they didn't do it, I would have loved to see that you see the people running around, and then all of a sudden you see all the eyes turning red because they're all vampires.
But they
didn't. So make like a smear.
Yeah.
Like everyone like.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of like,
where you just start seeing the eyes just fucking.
But it wasn't. But they didn't light their eyes red. They lit them up like white.
Yeah,
like
but you could
almost
barely
palish.
see it. So I was like,
It just looked a little highlighted from what it was.
That's me just being really nitpicky. Like I'm
really
being
nitpicky.
Nitpicky.
But the introduction to the vampires was really good. Like, you don't know. Like, you have suspicion that something's going on, but you don't know that it's gonna be a vampire, right? The entire time, it looks like. The way people think about it, the way the movie set up is that the two brothers are vampires. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
It sets it up like that. Like they're the two vampires. But they're not. They're not. It's this fucking Irish dude. But with this Irish dude, he's so like fucked in the head because he's been around for so long and just eating people. And the only reason he wants he wants to attack them is because he wants the kid, Sammy. He wants the kid Sammy because of his musical ability or whatever.
So that's the one of the premises of the movie, that when you're really good at playing music and you're just born naturally with making music, you had there's lore that you had the ability to contact spirits from beyond.
Right.
With that type of music. So in that scene where Sammy's playing, you see that he contacts spirits from the past. So you see tribal men, you see like more ancient type people, and then it goes to the future because you can contact spirits from either side, and you see like a DJ.
Yeah, you start seeing people DJing,
you see
breakdancing,
people crip walking.
Which, by the way, in that scope, the way they had it, kind of going around, even though it kind of looked like a fucking really trippy ass place, it fits so well.
Right.
It fits so
well.
perfectly.
At first, I'm not gonna lie to you. At first, I was sitting there, I was like, "This is fucking pointless."
Yeah.
But then I heard the girl talking in the background. And she's like, yeah, whenever you have musical talent, you can contact spirits from the future and the past.
Yeah.
And then I saw that. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They
really emphasized on that. And then
that's great.
And then when, like, the people who were the vampires, the two clan members and then the Irish guy, they go out and when they're introduced as vampires, they go to the club. They're wanting to come in to, like, they're being, like, trying to coerce them to let them in. They send, the white girl that Michael B. Jordan's character
Maria or Mary or something.
Who
the white girl that Michael B. Jordan was?
I can't remember her name. What was
it?
Her
Like
name?
Mary or something.
Fuck. Anyway, but
we're gonna call her Mary.
Probably, I don't know. But they send her out to go verify whoever it is, whatever, right? They send her to go verify, and then she talks to them, whatever, and they get all creepy with her. She backs up, she points the gun out, and she's walking away. And as she's walking away, you see the guy get up. And he walks behind her, and just literally in a pan of the corner, you just see him go, and he just lifts. I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then she comes back, and she has a huge bite mark on her back and everything like that. But it was the fact that they could fly was so great.
I told Sean that my nitpicky thing, and this is because I am that way, and I love this aspect of a vampire. I would have loved to see the wings.
But that's so cliche.
It is, but I love to see my vampires.
That's
like
so
that.
cliche.
You know what I mean?
Like instead at the end when he's like getting all crazy, his nails are all
long.
He looks all fucked up and he's like holding the guy.
And then you see all of his fangs because all this is fucking damaged. So you see his fangs coming out.
Yeah,
it was so great,
and
it was so great.
And in one of the scenes where like shit's starting to hit the fan and they're kind of piecing shit together, the guy Cornbread, the guy who I called this guy, He's this bigger dude, bigger set dude with a bucket hat, and he has like a weird limp. He goes out to pee. It shows him kind of getting confronted by a vampire, but then you don't see him again. And then all of a sudden he comes in and he's walking by and he's like, "Hey, what happened?" He goes, "Oh, hey, Stack just died, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, "Oh, man, my buddy Smoke. Let me give him a hug. Let me help him out. Just let me up in here." And they were like, "Wait, what?" And they're like, "Yeah."
And there's a lady that's a witch. Okay?
And there's a lady who's the fuck buddy of Smoke.
No, it's like his wife.
His baby mama.
There you go.
His baby mama.
That's
Not
a
his
better
wife.
way. That's a better way.
It's the baby mama.
It's his baby
It's
mama.
the baby mama. But like she goes in and she's like, "Look, I've heard about these like entities and stuff and all that stuff," and people are like, "Yeah, whatever." But then he's asking to be let in, and she's like, "Why do you need to be let in?"
You've been going in and out all
No. Smoke says that. Like she's like, "Why do you need to be let in? Like you're big enough to push yourself in. Like what the fuck?" And then Delta Slim was like, "Yeah, dude, like what's going on?" And then finally Smoke says it as well. He goes, "You've been going in and out of this place without needing to be invited. Why do you all of a sudden need to be invited?" And that's when they start suspecting. And
I'm letting you guys know right now, though, that motherfucker Cornbread is like 7 foot tall, right?
Bro, he's huge.
I'm over exaggerating, but he's like 7 foot tall, right? That would be the worst person to have as a vampire. Imagine.
he was.
I know. That's why I was like, no, hell no, dude.
He was.
Fuck no.
And then there's a dude, my boy who
he was done dirty, bro. He was done dirty.
Okay, so
I would have been pissed, man.
They had this beer from the bootleg era. It's an Irish beer that they brought back. Apparently, if you drink too much of it, like you get really sick because it's all moonshine and shit like that, right? It's all like whatever, right?
But it has a red color.
But it has a red tint to it. So when you puke it up, it looks like blood. So this guy was drinking, got sick, puked it, and they found him on the ground. So they're like, "Oh my god, one of us is a vampire." So they all went around and gave each other garlic and shit, right? And Delta Slim grabbed the garlic, put it in his mouth, and he starts like reacting really bad and like wanting to puke. And he goes, "Man," he goes, "Is that beer that you gave us early?" And then the what is it? The witch lady, the shaman lady. She's
I'm
like,
gonna call her Voodoo Witch Doctor. It's not, but she's a shaman, whatever.
The shaman lady. She was like, "Hey, was that really blood?" And he goes to touch it, and he goes, "Oh, it's puke." And the dude wakes up, and he's like, "Hey guys, let me in." And the vampires are closing in. He goes, "Bro, guys."
Cornbread is running after him, bro.
And then Cornbread runs and like tears off a piece of his face. And I was like, "No,
that guy was done dirty, though. I want it to be on the record. That guy was done dirty,
bro.
I would have, dude. You know how mad I would have been if someone takes me out and I had nothing to do with this.
I was just passed out.
I was just sleeping, man. Damn.
And that's a really good sequence because you would say, "Let me in," not because you're a vampire. You should be let in.
Yeah.
But they kind of realized that they went to open the door and they were like, "Oh," and then all of a sudden Cornbread just takes him and they're like, "Wait."
My question. Hold on, I have a question. I just want to know, right? If that guy that passed out, right? If he was a vampire originally and they grabbed him and threw him inside, did he die? Does he die? Because they're not allowed in unless permission.
No. That counts as
That counts permission.
Yeah.
You have to verbally say it though.
No. You have they have to say or indicate you're allowed in. Mm-hmm. You can't.
The lore says you have to grant them entrance.
Right.
Back then, even granting entrance was holding the door open for him.
No, I had told Sean this because one of the characters dies inside, right? And he becomes a vampire inside, which is Stack, right?
Yeah.
He becomes a vampire inside. I was like, hey, quick question. If he died inside and he's still inside, does he still need permission?
Well, also that is his place,
right?
Yeah, no, he wouldn't need permission because he's already inside.
And that's what I thought
and
too.
also, even if he wasn't inside, it's his place.
But how great of a concept would that be? That he dies inside and he becomes a vampire, and then you just see him get ejected out because he hasn't had permission.
There's a movie like that.
That's fucking cool.
There's a movie like that. I can't remember which movie that is, but there's also like they showed it in True Blood as well, where like they're fighting and everything. And Sookie rejects her invitation, and both the vampires get stuck, and they're like, and they just back up, and they just go out of the house, and the door closes.
That's pretty cool.
I was like, oh, that's pretty dope.
That would have been cool though to see him get like ejected. He's like, fuck, like I was in there.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it was really great. She throws the pickled garlic at fucking Michael B. Jordan at Stack, and he burns like half of his face, and then it regenerates because you don't see that again.
But none of the bites do.
But none of the bites do. It's so weird. I think it regenerates over time.
Right.
Like over time, it'll regenerate.
Well, kind of depends on the lore too. But sometimes the mark, like the first mark you get, because it kills you, so that doesn't regenerate. But everything else afterwards, you're like pretty much you become like a magical creature.
Yeah.
After that.
Right.
But that one doesn't. That always stays.
Yeah.
I think the scar remains. I think.
And again, it also depends on the lore, because the 30 days a night you don't have that.
Right.
If you turn, you heal completely. And again,
anything with Dracula, it heals immediately.
No, but you have the 2 marks.
Yeah, but it goes away, because if you see, there's some with Dracula that when he bites you, he goes, "Okay, you're a vampire now."
Oh yeah,
and you see the thing go like heal up.
Yeah, that's right.
So it depends on the lore.
It does depend on the lore. Yeah. But like this one, a lot of people, even in the theater that we were in, were confused as to why that guy was on fire when he hit him with the guitar.
Because it was silver.
Yeah, because the pick guard was silver.
I sat there, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, he hit him with the guitar and he hit the pick guard that was silver and he dented his head, and I was like,
that's why everyone felt it.
Yeah.
I like that too. I like that they did that. They did like a hive mentality type thing.
Well, that's how technically
it's supposed to be, yeah. But they don't do that.
Yeah.
But I love that they focus on that when he gets hit with that silver thing. He's like, oh shit, and you see all the vampires go like this, even though they have nothing damaged. They can feel the pain of the fucking vampire.
Yeah.
That's so amazing.
Yeah.
So amazing. Great. I loved it.
And even the way they did it in True Blood, it was not as bad. Like, you could feel, but that was the only time that you could pretty much feel feeling.
Yeah.
That's why, like, in the and I know this is an old show, but in the show True Blood, when you see Godric dying and he's saying goodbye to Eric is like, his heart is breaking and he's like fucking massively crying, and like he can't help it. It's not because it's affecting him. It's because like
you feel
he has a deep connection with his master, which is what they call him.
Yep.
So that's why he's like babbling like a little bitch.
And so I wanted to say this. I loved how the final boss, the main guy, I loved how he looked when he was in his demonic form, his vampire form.
It was great.
However, the only thing I would want you to turn up the monster gain just a little bit more. I would love to see him more fucked up. You know what I mean? More vampire-ish. Because it was like mostly human, and you see like little aspects of vampire. Which, don't get me wrong, beautiful how they did it. Beautiful how they did it.
And even with the movie from the beginning, from the very get-go of the movie, from the very beginning of the movie, it shows the ending. It shows part of the ending. It shows the kid, Sammy, walking in with his fucking
guitar.
The neck of his guitar, just walking in very like shufflingly, covered in blood with fucking 3 marks on his fucking face.
Which I love how he kept the entire time.
And even in his like in his concert and everything, he has like
the 3 scars right here. It's fucking great.
So like at the very beginning, it shows him coming in, and his dad, who's a preacher, is like trying to hug him, and he's like, he's witnessed sin, blah 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 blah. He's witnessed sin, and meanwhile he's hugging his dad. The entire time is flashing all the people that died, all the fucking shit that's going on.
The vampire he just saw face to face and shit.
All that shit is going on through his head and everything, and I was like, fuck, like, bro. You know what I mean? And I don't know, man.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, though. Like, I loved how the vampires were portrayed. Yeah. It was amazing. I would have just liked the monster gain just to be turned up just a slight bit.
And that's also it depends on what, like, from what I know, it depends on, like the strain or like the family he comes from, which is more mutated, which is not, which is like a more pure, like blooded from supposedly like Dracula.
So this one didn't have any of that, which was kind of.
I think that's why they just took a bunch of parts of different lore and kind of smushed them together.
What I also do like is, well, 2 things. I'm gonna say 2 things. One, I do like that the fangs of these were not just 2. It was the whole mouth. The whole mouth had fangs, right?
That's a Strigoi thing.
Yeah.
Right. And then the second thing, I love that they didn't focus on the teeth.
Yeah, that wasn't like the main focus.
Because a lot of vampires will like show their teeth for like a good minute.
Yeah.
This one didn't.
That only happened at the end when she's licking the lollipop, and then she just opens her mouth.
Right.
And the bartender's like, "Oh, fuck."
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And the main boss had it. That's the only time you see it. And I was like, dude, that's fucking fantastic, because every time you see a vampire or Dracula, or let's say, right?
Like, don't get me wrong.
Like,
don't get me wrong. They all had fangs. We all saw everybody with
Everyone
fangs
had
at
fangs.
one point.
You just
but
don't
it wasn't
see it.
like
they're not sitting
fangs.
There. They're not sitting there.
Yeah. It was just quick and
time.
then done. And then after that, it's just back to normal teeth. They're all fighting. And then when they do like close-ups, you can tell that they have the fangs. Yeah. But like for continuity, that's it.
But they didn't focus on it. Like they're not sitting there like this saying hi. You know,
They're
what I mean?
literally not-
Accentuating the smiles.
Yeah, they're not like that every 5 seconds, and that's usually what pisses me off about vampire movies. Because I'm like, dude, it's not just about that, bro. Like,
Right.
yes, it's menacing, but like,
it's
not all about
it's
it.
a okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
All right,
Thank
yeah,
you.
you're a
Can
vampire.
we keep
all right,
going?
exactly. Keep it going. Keep
And
it
then,
pushing.
and then at the very end, when you just don't think any more shit could go wrong, the Klan shows up. The original bad guys, the Klan, shows
Shows
up.
up.
And it turns out that both the brothers, even though one is quote unquote dead because of the vampire, like they had like a reservoir of weapons, like a cache of weapons. So what he does is, because he knows what's coming,
He's a soldier.
he's a soldier. He grabs guns and puts them John Wick style across his property, like on the ground, dug up and everything. And he has a belt with all his like grenades and everything like that. And he's sitting there waiting in the outskirts while they're all trying to get to the barn or the mill that they bought. And they're checking the doors and everything. And all of a sudden they get shot and they start falling. Like a few of them get shot in the leg. And all
And
of a
he's
sudden,
sitting there prone and
and
shit.
yeah,
Pop,
dude,
pop,
he's
pop, pop.
prone style. Michael B. Jordan's prone style with a sniper, just fucking putting holes in bitches the whole time. And then he gets up, throws his gun, and grabs a fucking Thompson submachine gun, bro, mafia style.
I'm letting
Shoulders
you know-
that bitch and just goes to town on everybody, bro.
Homo and not homo, but mostly homo.
He can get every day of the week.
Dude, he looked fine as hell.
And then
blasting
extra
them
on
bitches,
Friday.
dude.
What
my
era is this?
It's
movie set in?
it's 1900s to about 1920s to
Oh,
1930s.
so it's not
almost.
okay. So it's not modern day.
No,
No.
And here's where a
Okay.
lot of people think that it jumps around, like in era. It doesn't jump around in era. That was the time. It looked freaky. It looked weird because they had like cars, but some were still on horseback. And then they have like the Beretta, the sliding gun, and then some people had like revolvers. It's like, yeah, that was a weird era.
Yeah,
like,
that was World War One, World War Two.
Yeah.
Like it
Around there.
everything started kind of merging.
they had
with
just
that,
gotten back from
Like
World
I
War
even
One.
I even questioned it because
Yeah.
he pulls out like a fucking Glock, right? And it's not a Glock, but whatever.
pulls out a
He pulls out a
1911.
Glock and he shoots two people. I was like, wait. I was like, how is this like in the 1920s? I was like, but he has a Glock, like a new ass Glock. I was like, that makes no sense. But I was sitting there, I was like, oh no, that does match the time because it's a
Yeah.
1911.
Yeah.
It's a brand new 1911.
It's a brand new 1911, and that's when they made them.
They worked. So the background story for Smoke and
Stack.
Smoke and Stack
Smokey.
is that they worked for Al Capone. They were mobsters, so they knew the guns. They had brand new guns. They had money, everything like that.
And everyone's talking about how they used to live in Chicago and used to work for Al Capone. And it's not out of the ordinary because in reality, when you go back to the history of Al Capone, he had a bunch of different people as his employees, a bunch of different businesses worked underneath him, and he went out in a bunch of gangs.
And even then, you could just say you did.
Yeah.
Like back
right.
then,
Everybody did.
How do you check?
Yeah, you're not going to check. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not gonna talk to Al Capone.
Yeah, go ask him.
Yeah.
See how well that goes for
Right,
him.
Right,
exactly. But also, like, it kind of shows because the reason it's historically significant is because the 5 families in New York back then didn't work with any of the black gangs or Hispanic gangs that were out. It wasn't until Al Capone started doing it, working with the local crime syndicates that were Hispanic, black, Asian, whatever, that the 5 families started introducing that. That's why we have gangsters like Lumpy Johnson and all that stuff, because they became mafiosos from the black side because they were already working for the mob.
And they started working for them because of the liquor thing. What is it called? What is it fucking
Prohibition.
called? Prohibition. They started working for them because of prohibition.
Because if there's one thing that Americans like more than fucking sex and money is booze.
Alcohol. Mr. Booze.
Yeah.
Mr.
But
Booze,
anyway,
Mr. B
it was a
double
great
O
movie.
Z.
It was a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
It beats so far a lot of the things that I would.
A lot of horror movies
A
that
lot
are out
of-
here. The
a
Nun
lot
2
of
was
horror
ass.
movies.
The what was
All
the
of
new
them.
ones?
Name
All of
one.
them. All of them. Conjuring has
Even
been
The
ass.
Exorcist was a disappointment.
Exorcist.
and I was-
Exorcist was oh my god.
It wasn't that great. It was a mid, but I expected more from The Exorcist, which sucked.
Right.
But
I don't even give it mid. It was ass.
either
It was
way,
ass.
it was very good. But last 2 questions before we end this. What was your favorite character?
Fuck.
Michael B. Jordan's not a favorite. You can't say either of the characters. Of Michael
Fuck
B.
you
Jordan.
then.
We'll get to that one. So 3
Shit.
questions.
Okay. Cornbread.
Cornbread for sure.
Cornbread for sure. Cause
Cornbread for sure. I love
That
him.
was a menacing motherfucker.
Yeah, he was crazy.
When he gets up, bro. Oh god damn, dude.
I got a soft spot for Delta Slim.
No, same.
Delta Slim is my guy,
Delta
bro.
Slim right there. And believe it or not, the witch, bro. The witch was
Oh
in it.
yeah,
She is the reason why they were prepared to fight.
Characters in order for me favorite. Delta Slim.
The
I can't remember her name, but the shaman lady.
witch, okay.
Yeah, and then Cornbread.
And cornbread.
And then out of the two brothers, which one's your favorite?
Stack. I like Stack.
Stack. I like Smoke. I like Smoke a lot. Like he's
Oh,
very,
I have another favorite character. I have
No,
another,
Sean, we're talking about the movie.
Right.
Oh, fuck you.
My other favorite character is the main villain.
The Irish
I
guy?
really
yeah,
liked
he was a
him.
good villain.
He not only played a good villain, but he played a good.
He needs an award.
He played a good
needs an
vampire, bro.
award.
It was wow.
One of the best adaptations of vampire I've ever seen in my life. Just so fucking.
You know what I
good,
don't like
bro.
though? They
What?
brought in the Native Americans, but they did nothing with him.
Oh yeah,
They brought him in, they did nothing.
that's racist.
No, I mean, not
Don't watch
really
this
racist.
movie. It's racist. I'm
It's,
just kidding.
no, hella racist.
No.
But I thought they were gonna be. I thought the Native Americans were gonna come back. Like you
Yeah,
know what
I
mean?
was hoping that they would come back. I thought at first they were the vampires, bro.
Dude.
When that guy came in begging, I was like, oh my god, they're vampires. I was like, oh, we about to get lit. Apache vampires.
That's
we about to get
wild.
fucking wild.
That's an idea.
That's an idea. Hey,
an
don't
idea.
don't copy it. All right.
That's an copyright.
Spielberg, I'm watching you.
No, that's
Right?
that's an idea. Hold on, wait a minute. No, what I thought was gonna happen, right, is that guy was gonna, get the two guys. What was his name, Butch and whatever the other motherfucker was, Ellie or whatever their names was, right? And I thought that when they were in the bar or the juke place, whatever
Club
the fuck,
Juke?
Club Juke, whatever. I thought the Native Americans were gonna pull up and be like, "See, boss," and fucking just massacre people.
Yeah.
I thought that was
would've
gonna
been a
happen.
good
I
one.
was excited because
was
I was
a
like,
good one.
I was like, bro, the
But
Native Americans being heroes.
But I would have
like, that's
been
rare.
I would have been way more impressed with Apache vampires.
100%.
Can you imagine? Scalp you, and then fucking bite into
Imagine
your neck?
hearing that fucking scream, bro.
No, new fear
I-
unlocked. New
I
fear
would,
unlocked.
I
Apache
like,
vampires.
just based on what you guys are saying, they should have done use the natives as like they're like kind of not as heroes, but like, hey, like,
We knew about
knew.
this.
We knew it. We
We've
knew
been
this guy.
We've
was
been guarding
bad.
these creatures
Yeah.
for a very long time.
No,
We've been watching
that's what
them.
I'm
Do
saying.
it,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
they should have gone to the bar.
Yeah.
Right, and then when let's say when Stack was getting killed, right? Instead of having Michael B. Jordan, have the fucking natives come in and be like, "Bitch, boss," and shoot her, and they're like, "What the hell? Why are you shooting a random bitch?" And then they see Stack fucking
Yeah,
bleeding and
they
shit.
Yeah.
just know. They
And
know.
then-
They know exactly who's a vampire.
Like, we've,
Exactly.
we've been watching these creatures for generations, and
Exactly.
oh no!
And then they grab like guns and shit like that. And they go here.
Call us for Sinners Part 2. Call us for Sinners Part 2.
Hella.
Give us
hella.
producer credit. We'll be here. We'll be there.
Hella.
Or just even having, they're like, yeah, we don't interact with you guys, not because we can't.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to.
It's because we're guarding the.
Because
Yeah.
we're guarding them.
God
You're
damn.
welcome. Yeah.
Call us. Sinners
And then-
2. Producer
and then
credit.
and then have like a whole backstory. Have the natives come in and tell them how, like that witch goes, "How do you know about these guys?" It's like, what? We've been guarding them. They go, "That's why we have our own land. We've been guarding them." One slipped out.
You don't.
One slipped out.
You didn't give us this land. We took it to protect you guys.
Yeah, and then
Call us for Sinners 2, bro. Michael B.
swear.
Jordan. DM
Hold on,
me.
hold on. And then listen. And then the witch asked him, "Hey, how do you know?" Right? And then the Native Americans go, "We've been protecting you guys for the long time." He goes, "But one of us escaped. One of them escaped, and we could not find him."
Bro,
And
call
this
us.
is what he's fucking doing.
Call us.
Bro.
Let's do this.
We're gonna
Let's
be
do
rich.
this. 20 million
be
minimum.
rich.
That's it. You'll get us both 20 million.
Each. That's fine. I'm
Not
good.
each. Hey, don't be greedy, bro. It's our first
Oh,
start.
Both. Got it.
Both.
Yeah.
Got it.
Bro, that would have been great. Apache vampires, bro.
I'm telling you, that's the
Fuck,
future.
dude.
That's the future of vampires. I'm
No, you know what else would have been cool? The Apache vampire hunters with the fucking silver fucking tomahawks and shit.
bro.
Bro.
Silver arrowheads, bro. Can you imagine just cornbread running and all of a sudden? whoosh.
No, I got one better, dude. Turquoise and fucking silver rings. So, boom. You know how they like turquoise and shit? Bro.
Wow, that was racist that you said that, but
I'm not, no,
okay.
it's not racist.
Maybe not. Call us. Just call me. I got it.
No, seriously, it's not racist.
Me
You know-
and
you
Sean
know that
didn't
that's-
say that.
No, it's really not racist, yo. Bitch, stop making me look bad. It's not racist. They actually really like turquoise.
Made you look
made-
bad.
I did.
You made you look bad.
Next you're gonna say Chinese people like firecrackers.
They do.
Racist. we're done here. Thank you so much. Wait, no, real quick before we do it, rate this movie non-racistly out of 10. I can't do that.
Non-racistly 3.
No, how much? Rate this movie 1 to 10.
Dude, this is a really good one.
I'm a solid 9.
I was about to
I'm a
say
solid
9,
9.
maybe 9.5.
9.
Yeah.
9, and not 9.5.
No, I gotta
Give me a
go
minute.
9.5.
Hang on.
I gotta go 9. I would have loved, honestly, as cliche, I would have loved the shaman girl to go at it with magic and shit.
Yeah, I would have loved to see more of that shit. 9.
Yeah.
That's your 9.5 right
Yeah.
there. Next time, give her a bigger role. motherfucker.
If she would have just been like, if they would have came in and she's just fucking praying and people were like exploding around her,
Bruh.
dude, fucking amazing.
Bruh, she would have thrown those
Fucking
bones
amazing.
and that fucking like power would have came out and killed him. Oh,
Dude, that would have been great.
okay, that would have been your
been great.
9.5. That would
That'd
have
been
been
great.
Call us, DM
I'd
us,
have been like, dude,
minus
that'd
him.
been great.
Don't message him. He's racist. Bye.
I'm not racist.